Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is VIN 2576, and this is a 2018, which is the lowest production year. 1J7, which is atomic silver with LA20 black interior with 37,000 miles, so pretty low mileage, at a wholesale dealer auction. And so you'll basically be seeing this pop up for sale probably in a couple days to a few weeks to maybe a month or so. This has been a Texas and Louisiana car basically its whole life, so southern car. Production statistics: 328 out of the 2,348 cars for the US 49 were atomic silver. Of those, 151 had LA20 black interior. So that's like 6.43% of all of the US 49 production was this combo. So like a 5 or 6 out of 10 for rarity. 2018 was the lowest production year, as I said. 39 of the 169 cars were atomic silver, and of those 39, only 19 had LA20 black interior. So this car is one of 19, pretty rare as far as specific to a 2018 model. So after 2016, a lot of the standard items became optional on the later year cars, so 2017 through 2020. And so one of the ones that you saw a lot of was the split polished wheels, where the high spokes are polished, the low ones are gray, and those were optional on the later years. 2016s, they all had it. Later, the base models had gray wheels, and the upgraded optional ones had the split polish. It was the same wheel design, just one was polished, one was gray. So this car has the optional split polished wheels, it has illuminated door sills, and it has the color heads-up display, which became optional after 2016. So 2017 through 2020, not all the cars had heads-up display. The majority of them did, but just something of note there. And then this car was also optioned with glass brake sensors and orange calipers. Not a lot of the cars had the glass brake sensors, so that's, if the car gets broken into, it'll set the alarm off immediately. Not all these cars had that. Carfax, Epic VIN, and Auto Check. So Carfax shows this as a 2-owner, no accident car, southern driven car. Epic VIN shows this as a 2-owner, no accident car. And Auto Check also shows this as a 2-owner, no accident car. So guess what? This is probably a 2-owner, no accident, southern driven car. So all green flags so far. So previous sales, there should only be 2 if this is a 2-owner car. November of 2017, $90,000 in Louisiana, and it didn't sell actually until January of 2019. So 1 year and 2 months for sale. Pretty typical of what you saw when these cars were new. The dealers didn't want to discount them, so they just sat around on lots for over a year, as was the case here. Then it was for sale L certified pre-owned in May of 2021, $67,000 with 10,000 miles on it, again in Louisiana, and it sold to somebody in Texas in October of 2021. So like 5 months for sale there. So then the car was traded in and it was sent to auction. So here it is, March of 2026, the middle of March 2026. It's scheduled to run here in a couple days. So I wanted to go ahead and get the information out there, so if you saw it pop up for sale really quickly, you would see it. So I will post the final hammer price if it's available in the top comment, and I'll pin it, just so you kind of see what a dealer paid wholesale for it. So generally expect that they're gonna have to do a little bit of refurbishment, things like that, and then of course they have to leave room for their profit. So so you can see that, that's not to say you're gonna get the car for what they paid, because that's not how this works. As per usual with a lot of the dealer auctions, they provide under chassis, under vehicle photos, and so there's no exception here. Everything looks dry, don't see any rust. A couple little scrapes on the exhaust and the low points, that's pretty typical of what you would see. Really, underneath everything looks great. As far as the engine bay goes, and a lot of the interior, it's covered with that typical used car dealer bright silicone. So everything is slippery, everything looks shiny. The detailer in me absolutely despises this stuff because it's a pain to remove too, but it gets on everything, it stains the plastic. So you can see in the photos, even on the backs of the seats, on portions of the plastics of the door panels, all over the engine bay, it's just someone just slathered it. And I absolutely hate that because it hides a lot of the imperfections, but that's again why they do it. People like to see shiny things, and the typical buyer for this car, not necessarily looking for something like that. But again, I'm not gonna hamper on that too much, but just know that it's something that I despise, and it generally is used to cover up a lot of stuff. The interior looks great. No delaminating carbon fiber that I see from the photos that are provided. The touch points, everything looks pretty good. It's just that shiny stuff everywhere. And again, that can be resolved. It's not a deal breaker, but that's just something of note there. The only thing really to note on the exterior is that the rear bumper looks like maybe somebody's garage door got the tip of the rear bumper. And so it's gonna need some paint work there. The downside of that is atomic silver is one of the hardest colors to paint match. It's a very difficult color to paint match, and so it's easy to see when these cars have paint work on this color. And so atomic silver, it's a metallic silver, and it has, from the painting world, the flake that's laid in it, it has what's called a flip or a flop, and it's how the light hits it or how your eye sees as it reflects. And so if you don't match it with the other panels just perfectly in the same direction, it will look a different shade. Even if it, according to a machine, may say it's not any darker or lighter, it will look different. And so you have to have a very good painter, an experienced painter with a good eye for this in order to properly paint. And dealerships usually use the lowest bidder. You know, they have these mobile body repair guys or in-house, you know, sometimes, but it's usually not the most experienced people that are doing those kind of touch-ups. And so those are kind of reserved for the really high-end stuff or collector car stuff, you know, that kind of thing. So that would be something that when this car comes up for sale at a public dealer, you're probably going to notice that the rear bumper may look a little bit off if they do any repair at all. If they don't, you know, leave it as it is, try to buff or wet sand or spot paint or something like that. No matter what, you're going to see a little bit of difference versus how it came from the factory. But that's really it. Like this car, you know, it looks like a car should look for 37,000 miles minus the damage on the rear bumper. You know, very clean example. And I would expect, as far as the price goes, I would expect to see this car wholesale probably somewhere in the $45,000 to $48,000 range, maybe even more if there's two dealers that really want it. But it is an exceptionally clean example, and I think that retail on this car will probably be mid-50s. And so, you know, 54, 55, 995 for 2018. Any higher than that, you're competing with the 19s and 20s, and which are high 50s and low 60s is where those trade typically for an average mile example. This is a lower mile example, so maybe it can compete for it, but it does have some damage that needs to be addressed. But it is an exceptionally clean, low mile example. So now into the service history. This car is also very well dealer serviced too. So all green flags so far. The first entry of note is March of 2018. When it was new, the JLB recall was probably part of the stop sale originally. They were waiting on the updated parts, and so they couldn't sell the car until that was done. May of 2021, certified pre-owned prep. No details there. Sometimes it says repaint bumpers or refinish wheels, something like that. Not a lot needed to be done. It only had 10,000 miles on it. December of 2021, 15,000 miles, the right rear shock was replaced. The 17s through 20s had the adaptive damping shocks, and they had a defective internal oil seal. Some of them leaked when they had like 12 or 15 miles on them. Some of them made it to 80,000 miles before they started leaking. But here it is at 15,000 miles. One of them has already been replaced. A month later, January 2022, actually in that same service in December, they were having problems with the radio cutting in and out. And in January of 2022, the Mark Levinson amp was replaced, I would assume under the CPO warranty. That's about a $2,000 part if it ever fails. And there is a company, if it is out of warranty and if you have one of these cars, you can send it off and get it repaired for about $300 or $400, better than $2,000, and your stereo works. September of 2022, the right front shock was replaced. So now it's got two shocks replaced. June of 2023, 30,000 miles, the brake fluid was replaced and the 30,000 mile service was done. October of 2024, 29,000 miles, a new battery. And September of 2025 at 34,000 miles, just an oil change and alignment. That's the last service. So what's not done? So the early replacements for the leaking shocks did not have the updated part. The updated part wasn't done until sometime around 2021, 2022. The second replacement on this car, it was after that is what it looks like. But I would look at the other shocks, including one of the ones that was replaced, which would be the right rear, and make sure any of those are not leaking already. They're not overly expensive to replace. It shouldn't be a deal killer when you're looking at these cars. If it's leaking, it's just something that happens on these cars. So that would be something to inspect. I would look at the insides of the front tires. Make sure you don't have any excessive wear. If you do, it probably needs front lower control arm bushings. It affects all 5 years of these cars. The carbon fiber trim on the interior is original. At least none of it's ever been replaced at the dealer. So if you take this to a cold climate, it may or may not delaminate. So that's something to look forward to in the future. But almost all of these cars have that problem, and it's not limited to any particular year. 2016s, 2020s, everything in between, they all do it. Inspect the brakes, inspect the tires. I don't see any recent replacement of either of those. The HVAC servos, so make sure the car is fully warmed up and cycle through everything on both sides. Set one side to max hot, one side to max cold. Cycle through everything like the head, the defrost, the rear, the feet, all of that, and then switch sides and do the same thing, and make sure everything responds like it should. If it doesn't, you may have to have some of the servos replaced, and some of those require the dash removal, and so that can get expensive. Just for age, I would probably do the transmission service and the TVD service, having only 37,000 miles, but there's no evidence of that being done. Some of these cars have gone well over 100,000 miles before that's done, but I would definitely stay on top of that, especially this being a low mile example. Inspect the valley plate. Even with 37,000 miles, I've seen a car with 26,000 miles, a 2016, that's had the valley plate leaking. It is heat cycles and time. It is not necessarily mileage. So do a pre-purchase inspection on this car and inspect the valley plate. If you have a scope, I'll leave a link in the video description about that. Autel MV480 is what I use, and you can take the upper engine cover off that just pulls right off, and you can put the scope down right above where the oil cap, the oil filler cap is, and that gives you a pretty good access point to looking down at the valley plate. And if you see any pink crusty coolant, then set aside $2,000 to $3,000 to have it done at the dealer, or like $1,500 to have it done at an independent mechanic. I would say overall, this car is basically ready to go, other than just that little damage on the back, pending tire condition and brake condition, but it's basically ready to go. Clean all that silicone crap off of everything and go drive it and enjoy it. So that brings me to would I buy this car? I think only if it was priced right, but it looks like it's pretty well sorted, pretty well ready to go. If it doesn't need tires and brakes, then if you see it listed somewhere around 55 or so thousand, mid 50s, that's a pretty fair price for this in this market. And I think even at that price, it'll sell quick because there's pretty slim pickings on the market right now. So that's what I've got for you guys. VIN 2576, worth keeping an eye on. Have all your alerts turned on AutoTrader and Cars.com, Edmunds, all of those. And if I do see it, and if there's anything different, I'll file an update and upload an update for this car. But for now, this is what you get, 2576. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you soon.